Look at this one. Okay? This was a few months back. This puts us in May. This is April, March. Okay? Here goes. So if we start here, okay? Here's support. Still going to say that support is here. Okay? Resistance is here. A little bit above 26. What do you see right now? This stock is trading within, I would say, a perfect range. Look at this right here. All the way up to resistance. Okay? All the way up to resistance. And I would expect to have been able to go back and find some news that turned this stock around at this point. Look what it did. Went right back up to resistance and plummeted. Okay? So if you guys aren't taking advantage of these opportunities, then you're really missing out on a whole lot. Little red right there. Those are the put opportunities, right? There's two ways a stock can get down to support. A stock can trade sideways, okay, like this, to get back to support, or a stock can plummet, right, like this, okay? Trading sideways does not produce profit for anyone. Folks placing calls or puts. So we don't want to ride a stock when it's going sideways. We want to catch that stock plummeting or spiking, okay? That's the only way we turn profit. So I'm not really attracted to this right here, this sideways action. But I am looking for this right here. I want to see that stock plummet off of resistance. And once it gets down to support, I would not dare place a put, okay? Once it reaches support, I'm not thinking about puts unless there is negative news, okay? All right. Anybody have questions about this? Let's see. I would like to know the following. If a stock is headed up and there are a few days of down markets, does that temporarily stall the stock from moving up, or can it change the direction of the stock? Okay. If there's negative news, it can change the direction. Negative news can always change the direction of a stock. But if there's no negative news and the charts still reflect that the stock wants to go up, okay, and we may see a slight impact on money flow, okay, which makes sense, right? Think about taking all of the money out of the room, right? That's going to create a situation where, there's just not enough money going around for stocks to take off, okay? And that makes it extremely difficult for every stock across the board to go up. So in the end, if the markets are down, you must rescreen the stock and determine if it's just the environment that's impacting the stock, or if the stock wants to do something else after screening it. Those are two different situations, and they require two different responses, okay? If the environment is unfavorable for a couple days, It really boils down to how close expiration is. Okay. Now, if you expected to get in and get out quickly and you purchased options that expire within 1 to 2 weeks, then I would think about repositioning yourself if at all possible. Okay. Getting out and getting back in. But this is the importance of buying time, because what I found is that when you buy time, you could almost care less if the stock retracts a day or 2 or 3 in a row, because you have so much time to recover. Okay. And that's what buying time allows you to do. It really takes the pressure off. Okay. So in this case right here, this is what I want to focus on. This right here. Okay. Let's say the stock touched down to support, right? And, you know, it might be a good idea to blow up the last 10 days. So I'm going to do that. Let's see. Let's go hourly. Statement. If I say 10 days. So I got to go hourly. All right. So this is what I'm talking about right here. Stock retracts right here, all the way down to support. Okay. And you get in here. Okay. The next day or during the next 1 hour interval, stock opens here, same level it closed at during the first interval. And at the end of that interval, it's here. And then it goes back down. Okay. Now, if you were in on an option that expired within 5 days and that happened, your option would lose a lot of value just during this time period right here. Okay. Just like that. Okay. From this little retraction, you could be down about 30% if you purchased an option that expired within 5 days, just because of this right here, 1 point. Whereas if you purchased an option that didn't expire for 3 or 4 weeks, you might not see any significant change in value. You might lose 10 or 15% in value, right? The stock dropped and you still had 30 days left. And this is why I recommend and swear by buying time. Okay, if you buy time, then you're not in panic mode when things don't go right. There's one variable that we cannot control, and that's the environment. Okay? We can control everything else. I would also add the news. We can't control the news, and we can't control the environment. But if the environment is unfavorable and you have time, then you don't have to panic, okay? Because stocks are going to fluctuate, but with time, they will make progress. So notice within a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 day period, right? This stock, which is a fairly inexpensive stock, went from $20 per share to $25 per share. This is 5 points. And this is the result of catching this stock coming off of support. Okay. I'm going to switch back to the other chart. If you decided to buy in here and you bought 5 days, you would get wiped out. You would have gotten wiped out right here because of this sideways pattern. If you bought time, you would have been up at this point right here, okay? Right there, you would have been seeing profit. And that profit would have increased slightly, and you probably would have been around the break-even point at this point right here if you purchased an option that did not expire for 3 or 4 weeks. But by this point here, you were seeing a lot of profit, okay? Understand that time value or time decay is going to impact the value of the option. But once the stock really starts to move, you're going to regain the money you lost and some quickly when the stock starts to take off and you still have time to recover, right? Or a significant amount of time to expiration. So at this point, I went back and tracked this, okay? I was up more than 130% at this point, okay? But I held it. Why? Because resistance was over 25, okay? And then boom. You get a big push like this on a fairly inexpensive stock, right? Those call option contracts are going to go up significantly. And at this point, I returned 272%, okay? And this was all due to support and resistance. Understanding support and resistance and buying time, okay? If you go cheap, you're going to get hit, okay? And it's not fun. But I feel like some of you guys sell yourself short by going cheap and not buying enough time. I reviewed maybe 15 or so trades that students sent me this week. And I promise you, 90% of the time, they screened the stock properly and placed the trade and got hammered because they didn't buy time. They nailed support and resistance, but didn't buy enough time. And that's why they took an L. And it's totally avoidable. So, again, there are so many stocks out here that trade within a normal range. And they follow, this basic pattern that I would say 85 to 90% of the stocks out here follow, okay? They trade within a range defined by their support and resistance. That's the key, okay? That is the key when it's all said and done. And if you're not paying attention to this, you are missing the opportunity, okay? Every time. And a lot of people get in, okay? This is what I see. You get in here, right? Stock goes up a little bit, and then it pulls back, and then you sell. Right there. You're out. You're like, I can't take it anymore. And at that point, if you fail to rescreen the stock and determine that you still need to hold that position, you will lose, okay? Say it all the time. You haven't lost anything until you sold. When you sell, that's when you've taken a loss. So it's okay, to see a little red from time to time. It's not a big deal. I posted something the other day. I was just saying how the biggest returns typically come after being in the red, okay, and riding it out. And this is almost twofold to me because I can apply this to trading and I can actually apply this to life,